Alright, what's going on, guys? It is your boy TK here, back again here with another video here on PlayStation Source, and this is going to be again another part, the part 2, if you will, of our video that we did last week, going over all the PS5 leaks at that current point. So we got a ton of leaks, and so I kind of split it into two videos just because the first one went on for a very long time, 28 minutes. Make sure to go check out that video as well if you haven't. And this is going to cover some of the stuff that we didn't get to in that video before. And so first off, I have, a little bit of a, if you've been watching Joyclicks Games Cast, what I'm saying, shout out to Christian, shout out to Joyclicks. I am on that podcast as well. There is a segment on that podcast where we do patch notes, right? Where we go over some things that, one of us got wrong or something updated from the week prior. And so I would like to do that for a video to video basis. So part 1 of the PS5 leaks that was last week, again, make sure you watch that. I have some things that I would like to kind of amend and like to change from what I said from that episode. So first off here, there was some things about MLB launching with the PS5, and I figured, yeah, I guess I could see that. To me, that just checked out. I don't know, like I feel like it would be, probably smart to have some sort of sports game come out at launch, I presume. However, I was unaware, as someone who does not play MLB or does not play really any sports games whatsoever, just not my forte, not really my type of game, you know what I'm saying? I was not, under the pretense knowledge that MLB came out in the spring. So that's why I feel like, okay, obviously that won't line up, and because if it was going to launch in the fall for PS5, that means that the dev team would have way under a year to develop a whole new MLB, for PS5. Could they port MLB 20, this year's MLB that came out in spring? Like, I mean, no, like, I don't think that's going to happen. So, I mean, you will be able to presumably play MLB, from PS4 this year to PS5 if it's true about the whole, PS4 games can play on PS5. But nonetheless, that one was definitely an oversight on my part. My apology. I should look a little more into it, exactly when MLB releases. So that's another one. And also here, guys, let's keep it real here. It is January 28th as of this recording. We're almost to February. We haven't heard a single thing about any sort of event. So I feel like the February 5th date is completely botched. It's not gonna happen. So that just some patch notes here, just keep you all up to date and keep me honest, you know what I'm saying? So now we're gonna go into some of the leaks that were stated in some other things that were around the first leak as well. And so I'm going to be first reading the bullet points down the line, and then we'll be going over each bullet point and how I feel about them when we're done reading the bullet points. And so of course I have my notes here, so if I'm not looking at you, I'm looking at my notes. So first up here, PlayStation meeting will be held at the Sony Hall in NYC. Sony Hall is an indoor venue in which Sony sponsors and supplies supplies tech inside. And supplies tech inside the theater. Okay, that was just weird. So that's where they presume the PlayStation meeting event for PS5 will be happening. The console's design, controller UI, home screen, certain features, console specs, talks from third parties and indie publishers, as well as announcements for PS5 exclusives will be shown. Buzzwords for the console's features include little to no load times, blazing fast downloads, immersive controls, modular installs for games, download whatever, disk drive included, and download the games or stream the games as an option. We're looking at you, Stadia. So allegedly, they're looking to take some shots at Stadia in terms of that whole standpoint. PlayStation Now plays a vital role. You can either access games through a subscription fee or own the games outright. Sony, for a limited time, will bundle a 3-month PS Now subscription with the PS5 in select regions in an effort to promote the service to many new owners. Remote play is a big feature too, allowing you to play your PS5 games on your smartphone, tablet, laptop, or desktop. Play those games anywhere so long there's a Wi-Fi or cellular connection. The console will act as the database for those games to be streamed wherever. And the PlayStation app on mobile gets updated for PS5, adding a new design for other features to enhance your PS5 experience. And of course, the last thing we have here is backwards compatibility with all PS4 games is also a big feature, but they also say that through a new transferring feature, users will easily transfer their PS4 games to the PS5 if those games are downloaded. Save data backups for PS4 games will also be transferable. And so those were kind of the main bullet points. It is kind of like definitely like an appetizer platter of different things, but we'll go right into each point and really discuss, in depth how at least I feel about these rumors. Also, y'all, before we get into it, make sure to leave a like on the video. Make sure you all stay subscribed for all of the latest and greatest in PlayStation. So going on from here, the venue, if this event would have been happening in February, or literally whenever this event goes down, it makes sense, I guess, to put it in there. I really forgot when the PlayStation meeting was for PS4 era, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't the same place that they're talking about here. I'm pretty sure. Could be wrong, but to me, I guess that makes sense. I don't know about having like a lot of third parties there. Like I feel like you would kind of just want, to just talk about the console itself and have people that are inside Sony and inside PlayStation talk about PS5. But I could see maybe, I guess one or two maybe third party people. What I thought and like what I think is probably more likely is we see that iconic like splash screen of like all the different logos that are helping to make PS5 what it will become. And so I could see that, but maybe third party comes, I don't know. I guess that makes sense. So let's talk about the console, right? It says that we will hear, they say that we will see a lot of things, including, the console's design, the controller, the UI and the home screen, certain features, console specs, etc. And also, of course, the PlayStation exclusives that we talked about last, the last part of this kind of PS5 leak. Part 1, Part 2 thing. So I don't think that we will see the console design. I think it's too early. I don't think we will see that. I see maybe, down the line, maybe towards, the summer months, because we didn't see what the PS4 looked like until E3 of 2013 that year. I just don't think we will see the console design. I think there's a solid bet from the amount of, about how much they have talked about the DualShock 5. I think we might see that. I think there's a good chance that we will see the controller. I don't think we will see the console itself, just in my opinion. The UI and the home screen, I can kind of see that, and we did get a really cool like fake render that was out in the wild. I will probably play a clip here real quick. But it sounded pretty cool, I liked it. It sounded nice, you know what I'm saying? It's definitely fake, but I don't know about the UI either, I don't know if they would, I feel like they would want to show the actual console design and the UI and home screen together at an event later down the road, towards release. But some other things that are interesting that I feel like this leak brings up is certain features. And so there was a quote that Jim Ryan gave to Business Insider Japan. They did an interview and he was talking about how there are a lot of PS5's biggest features that have not been discussed yet. So I feel like those certain features, maybe could be what is shown at this reveal event and what's really touted, because we got really cool stuff with the PS4 kind of, features thing that was more towards E3, while there was some stuff given at the PlayStation meeting for PS4. There's some cool stuff about features at E3, so maybe we could see those, maybe seep into the PlayStation 5 reveal event, maybe. But I could definitely see them dropping some really cool features, because we have to hear new stuff about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like we're gonna get like a rehash of the Wired.com interviews. I'm wholly sure we will definitely get some things there. The specs, I don't see that at this reveal event. I do see it down the road, again, when this was the hardware. I just feel like if you're talking like hardware, UI, specs, like the console from like a physical standpoint, we will see that later on. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like we are more likely to get just features and different stuff that you can do, with the PS5 era or the PS5 itself, and we will definitely hear a lot more of what I think they are kind of shaping in terms of like feature sets later on in the video. But that's what I just think, man. And you know, the leak also says like announcements and like, hey, I don't think, you know, with like PS5 games at this reveal event, right, I don't think they're gonna have like full-on 2.5-minute trailers or like gameplay demos, you know, of these PS5 games. I feel like we will only get like slivers and teasers and stuff like that, like tiny little drops that will grow into, you know, jugs of water. That's a weird analogy, but I feel like we're just gonna get drops at this event, like teasers of games, and then we'll get the full, you know, gallons, you know, at a later event. So that's just how I feel about it. The buzzwords that they say, to me, I think definitely all of them kind of make sense. You know, I feel like it's clear that we are going into a realm of games that the improvements that we're going to see in gaming during this next gen is going to be less reliant on visuals, similar to the PS4 era, where, well, yes, you know, there is always a graphical boost when we get to a next generation, of course, but I think this gen, this next gen that we are looking at for PS5 and Series X, I think we're going to see a lot more improvements on how games perform, right? Like the ability to run 2 games at one time on the PS5, or the ability to, you know, segment which parts you want to download of a downloaded game, you know what I'm saying? Like just stuff like that, you know, the overall like frame rate, hopefully, and stuff like that. So I feel like we're gonna see how games you know, behave differently this generation as opposed to how they used to and how they traditionally perform, you know, on a console. You know what I'm saying? Like how the game loads, etc., stuff like that. So I feel like that's what we're gonna get with this gen, and I feel like these buzzwords, you know, and these buzz phrases like little to no load times, blazing fast downloads, immersive controls, etc., you know what I'm saying, disk drive included, which is kind of weird, you know, but I mean, it's really not weird, because I feel like we are getting closer and closer to a future where consoles won't have a disk drive to save storage. We have those rumors of an Xbox that is all digital. We have an Xbox that's all digital right now on the market, you know what I'm saying, that doesn't have a disc drive, the Xbox Stat Edition, you know what I'm saying? So it's definitely coming, you know what I'm saying? And I do like the download and streaming thing. I feel like that's a little bit ironic for them if they don't, you know, fix PS Now in terms of like only PS4 games can be downloaded. I don't know if I'd go with that tagline, because we can point out a lot of PS Now games that can only stream, just like Stadia, but I digress, you know what I'm saying? And moving on, let's just talk about PS Now. Why not, right? This one I buy 100%, right? They have been bolstering PlayStation Now as a service ever since they dropped the price, when, you know, it was like the first few months, the first few weeks that Jim Ryan took over that role, you know what I'm saying? And he definitely did, I mean, I don't know if it's only him, but there has definitely been a change in PS Now, right? And in terms of them putting really, really big first-party games like Horizon Zero Dawn and God of War on the service, to be able to stream or download, like those big games that we haven't really seen on PS4 come to PS Now, and the lowering of the price and stuff like that, and the way that the way that they have been allowing PS4 games to be downloaded on PS Now. Hopefully people get more download capabilities in the future with PS Now, and I feel like they are really trying to build it to be a somewhat competitor to Game Pass. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if it'll actually get up to a Game Pass level. I really hope it does, but definitely, you know, they are really you know, trying to improve PS Now and really trying to bolster it as one of the legs of their business within PlayStation. So I feel like, you know, them giving out the 3 months on PS Now to everyone that buys a PS5 in select regions for a limited time, I feel like that's a great way to do that, you know what I'm saying? But I never feel like, you know, and I never see a future where PS Now is going to have PS5 games day and date as they launch. You know, I feel like that's never going to happen. But maybe, you know, 6 months down the road, there's that big exclusive that dropped 6 months before. You can stream it now on PS Now if you have a subscription. But you know, and speaking of these subscriptions, actually, I think it's interesting how they note some sort of change in the business model. So it looks like you will be able to purchase games via PS Now to be able to stream or download. But then it's like, what's the point of the PS Store? You know what I'm saying? that's where I'm like kind of like, okay, I'm not really sure. I mean, is it going to be like, hey, you can stream, X game for a week if you pay, let's say $5, or something like that, or like some really, really, really low rate. Is that how they're gonna do it? Is that how they're gonna, change up the business model? I think it could be interesting, right? I think it'd be cool. If you don't want to subscribe to PS Now, you can pick and choose and use the service intermittently, throughout your PS5 era of gaming. So that one just seems a little bit weird to me. There's a lot of things here on this leak, especially with this video, that seem kind of weird, but it's just because the leak is vague about a lot of things. So we will get into remote play here as well to talk about that, because that even gets more complicated. But you know what? Let's just roll right into it. So next up, they talk about remote play, right? And remote play has literally been around since like the PSP, PS3 era, right? So we had the PS4 and Vita era after that, and then, here we are with PS5. And remote play, it looks like now they're gonna be, just spreading it as they have been for the last few years. Like it will no longer be just like a console to, portable handheld device that PlayStation makes, obviously, because the Vita RIP, the Vita is dead. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? They're looking to expand remote play to like our phones and our laptops and stuff like that. And so having that still be in PS5 era definitely does make sense to me. But the way they explain it, so they say that the PS5 will act as a database for the games to be streamed to any device. As far as I'm aware, I thought that's what the console was already doing. Like the game was truly running on the console that you're remote playing from. It's just being streamed, the actual like window, the actual viewport, if you will, is just being streamed to another device. And so I always thought that like that's what was happening with remote play, unless I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments below. Am I wrong about how remote play works? I've thought that was always how it worked, but they, point that out. But over the years, remote play has been tried a lot of times, right? And I just feel like, for me, I haven't had an experience that was like, okay, this works, like this tech works. It's always a like pie in the sky, like, we would love for remote play to work how we all envision it working, but it just never has truly. Maybe it's updated in the past few months I've used it, because I haven't used it in a few months. I used it like a few times when I was back in college and stuff like that, but not to anything super extensively. And maybe they're saying that there will be improvements in PS5, which I'm sure there will be, improvements with how the remote play works and everything, but I don't know. I mean, here we are. This is literally, this is third time, so maybe third time's a charm with remote play, but we shall see when remote play goes down. The next thing here, the next leak here, is talking about the PlayStation app, which I didn't think they would bring up. I really didn't think that we would get anything of substance with the PS app, but they said that they are going to be improving it and extending its capabilities and updating it as well, adding a new design and new features for the PS5 to enhance your experience with your PS5. And so I really do like that. I typically use the PS app only to check prices on games on PSN, like on the store when I'm out and about and I don't have a PS4 with me. I'll just check the prices on PlayStation Store via the PlayStation app, and that's really the only thing I've used it for. I never use it for messages. I know like a lot of people see that it's really useful for deleting a lot of people at one time off your friends list. Apparently it's very smooth to do that, because on PS4 you got to go through like 5 things for one person to delete, and so I know that's really annoying. But the PS app allegedly is really easy to do it on, so I know there's a lot of people that like it, and I like it. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but definitely it could be improved. So I'm really interested to see what different capabilities they could have to it. They do have those like second screen experiences that you can do with the PS app for certain games that support it, but it would be cool to see what the PS app could do with this updates. And so I'm just trying to think, like, what would I want to be able to control or to see on my PlayStation 4, with the PlayStation app, and these features could 100% probably be on the PlayStation app right now, and I just don't know because I don't use it that much. But I would love to see like a better way to see what is downloading on your app. I mean, on your PlayStation. Like, I would love to, if me and my buddies are talking about, hey, jumping into, GTA or jumping into, some sort of game that I haven't been to in a while, I would love for me to be able to start that game and start the updates before I even get home. I think that could be cool, and I think like there could be like a lot of cool things that they could do with the app to make it overall better with PS5. So we'll see how that all pans out. I think it'd be really neat to have capabilities like that, but we will see when the PlayStation app allegedly gets updated and upgraded with more features for the PS5 era. The last thing here is backwards compatibility. This one been talked about a lot. There's been a lot of things going around that allegedly the PS5 will be backwards compatible with all the consoles, so PS1, PS2, PS3, PS4, even PSP and PS Vita. So I don't think that that's gonna happen, guys. Like, I'm gonna keep it honest here. I don't see that. I can see 100% PS4 to PS5. That's gonna happen. That's of course, But I just don't see all of it. That just seems too much. You know what I'm saying? Especially PSP. Like, come on, man. I don't know. That just seems like a lot. I could see them rolling out like virtual console type things where like how the Switch has like its NES, type of section where there's a bunch of games from that era. And it's like a own app running in the Switch. I could definitely see something like that, but I wouldn't really call that backwards compatibility, but maybe that's what they mean. I don't know. But what really caught my eye here is that they're going to roll out a new transferring feature to be able to transfer your PS4 digital games onto your PS5. And so I really do like that. I wonder how it will play out. I wonder if it's going to be really as easy as it says. I really think that that's going to be cool. I wonder I wonder how you would even do that, because I mean, when I upgraded my PS4 to my PS4 Pro, I just swapped the hard drives because that's mainly what I needed. Like, I just swapped the hard drives, So I don't know what I'll be doing from my PS4 Pro to my PS5, but maybe this transfer feature could come in handy. Maybe it's just like one USB to USB, and it just takes like however many minutes, and it's done. I'm not sure. We'll have to see when the PS5 comes out, or if they talk about this feature as well later on down in the rollout. So that's essentially pretty much all we got in terms of PS5 leaks, as of right now. Of course, keep it locked here on the channel for more updates on PS5 and everything PlayStation as well. Down below in the description, leave a like, subscribe there, keep up to date here on PlayStation Source, and we will let you know the latest and greatest in PlayStation. Also, there have been a lot of different podcasts we've been doing. If you're not familiar, down below, Anchor link, you can check it out. A link to all of our different podcast services that we are on. That includes Apple Podcasts, Google Play Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts. All those are down below in the description for you to check out to listen to our long-form content in podcast format. That can be, of course, Road to Dreams, Road to Part 2 as well. That's starting up pretty soon again. I know y'all been asking. It's coming, I swear, it's coming. And of course, Save Slot Podcast as well. And if you all have any thoughts about these rumors, if you guys think these are legit, if there was something that I didn't mention that you wanted heard, leave me your thoughts down in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and as always, greatness awaits.